Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Please like and in particular share today's show. When you share today's show, when you share the show, more people see it. On today's show, many things to discuss. People, politics, and pleasure from the Black perspective. But I want to kick things off talking about a very tragic story that's coming from my home state of Ohio. Black man killed by police while entering his own home. You won't believe the details of this case. You won't believe, this is completely unbelievable. But it's the reality of being non-white in my country, 'tis of thee. That's the tip of the iceberg. Plus, we'll talk about local news. A lot of things are happening locally as it relates to the upcoming election. A new voice has entered the mayoral race here in the city of Cincinnati. If you follow politics, you'll know this name. We'll talk about what that means. Plus, a smattering of other topics that'll take us across the country and across our culture. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, the last honest place in Cincinnati media. And we'll get started in just a couple of minutes, family. I want to give you a chance to like and in particular share today's show. When you share the show, more people see it. Of course, today's show is brought to you by the good folks at CDM, that's Sin Digital Media. And their mission is simple: amplify Black voices. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all my spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, show mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride, cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. A beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. And as always, numerous things going on that we got to talk about. Let me put the cam up. Before we do, for the folks just coming in, and thank you for all the folks that liked and in particular shared today's show. It means everything. Blackman killed by police while entering his home. You may or may not be aware of that story. Oh, I don't want to get drowned out by the music. You may or may not be aware of that story. If not, I want to give you the details as I understand them this morning. Tragic situation here where this brother was literally literally had the key in the lock of his own home and get shot by a police officer who, as I understand, and again, if you got better information, please share it, who I understand they had some kind of fugitive warrant. They were looking for a fugitive. He wasn't even the person they were looking for. Wasn't even the person they was looking for. Gets shot dead in his own home. As the story is being reported, literally falls into his house where his family members are there, and they have to deal with that. Could you imagine that? You waiting for your loved one to come home, and in these days and times, whether you're black or white, doesn't really matter. You're sort of very anxious when your family's not at home. You wait for them to get back home. If you're a non-white person in America, you're even more anxious because you never know. You never know what can happen with your loved one, especially a black male. You never can know. And all of your worst fears come true right in front of your face. Hey, good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Now I'm reading that federal investigators are joining the probe into the Casey Goodson shooting death. Well, that's the brother's name there on the right. Let me put the image back up here on today's cover art. It's Casey Goodson. On the left is the officer that killed Casey Goodson. Apparently, cops thought that his sandwich was a gun. That's like something straight out of, wasn't there a scene like that in Casino? The cops rolled up on some bad guys. He had a Subway sandwich in his hand. They shot him, came over to him and saw he had a Subway sandwich, and they planted a gun on him. Not saying they did it in this case. The office of U.S. Attorney David DeVillers, whose name keeps coming up here in Cincinnati, said that just yesterday that his office is going to step in along with the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. We'll see what happens. Casey Goodson Jr. was 23 years old. Dead. Because of a Subway sandwich? What in the hell? How is this possible? Where's the evidence? This is hard to take. It's hard to fathom. But again, of course, these kind of things happen all the damn time to us, it seems like. Did you hear about the Ohio State forward? We're talking basketball. His name is Seth Towns. He took a knee before his team's game against Notre Dame last night to protest his friend's killing by police in Columbus, Ohio. You hear about this? You might have. If you're in the sports world, you might have heard about this. The whole damn team should have took a knee, in my opinion. If I was on the team, I would have knelt with the brother. We would have knelt together. Justice for Casey Goodson. You can put the image on the screen for you so you can check it out for yourself. This is courtesy from ESPN. And check this out. You got to see this. It's hard to believe. Hard to believe. 23 years old, gone because he had a Subway sandwich in his hand. What was he doing? He was opening the door of his own home. I mean, that's pretty much a defenseless position right there when you're like keying into your door. Like how many people as you're keying into the home of you're into your house, into the door of the home that you live in, your home, your house, you're renting it, you own it, whatever. That's a real defenseless position. How many people look around and look over their shoulders? Last thing you're thinking is that you got to be watching out for the cops because it might be a mistaken identity. Now, if the police officer says, well, I thought it was a gun. This is just from last night. Will he walk? Because you know that's what he's going to say. I thought it was a gun. Oops, my bad. I feared for not my life, but for the life of the people inside the home. I had no idea. Now, a couple days ago, I think that was Monday, I played for you a video of two of the most sympathetic and understanding law enforcement officials I've ever seen. Boy, you talk about taking their time. They took their time with that dude. Remember that? White eyes. He threatened to shoot the police officer several times. And then drove off, pick up to him. Again, we're talking about different law enforcement agencies and different officers. But damn, it's the same state and the same state of affairs over and over and over again. Damn. They took their sweet time with him. Remember that? Oh, they couldn't be nicer. Couldn't be nicer. Couldn't be nicer. I want you to sink this. I want this to sink in for a second. Hold on, I got to make a move real quick. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, sorry about that. Had to step away for a second, and I'm back. See, the lighting looks better. All right, so I want to talk about this story and give you the details. Have you heard about this? If you live in the state of Ohio in particular, this might be on your radar screen. It's a damn shame. And I was just sharing with you that this young man right here, he's an Ohio State basketball player. This happened just last night. His name is Seth Towns. And he took a knee before the basketball team's victory. They actually won the game against Notre Dame last night. You heard about this? Shot dead because he had a Subway sandwich in his hands. As the story has been reported, literally, he falls into the house and his family members are there. Family members are there. We are living in the last days of good damn common sense, my friends. When something like this happens, my country 'tis at thee on full display. Have you heard about this story? If so, what are your thoughts? What is your opinion? I want to get your thoughts. 513-873-7134. Some people have been saying that the police up in Columbus have been delaying the investigation and impeding the progress of getting to the bottom of things. Well, that's what I've been picking up through separate reports. Apparently, there's conflicting details. Apparently, there's evidence that's been lacking because the sheriff's office did not provide the officers with body cameras. Like, it's amazing to me that that's even possible in 2020 as we get ready for 2021. There should be no law enforcement body. There should be no law enforcement officials that don't have body cam. Why does this stuff keep coming up? It's real simple. All law enforcement in every department needs to have body cam at all times. At all times. And undercover too, because y'all can wear a wire and put on a body cam. There's all kind of James Bond type body cam out there where you can't even tell what it is. Put a damn camera on. That way, if something goes wrong, and even when something goes right, we, the people, the taxpayers that pay for everything you do, including your salary and benefits, then we can actually see what happened. I got no tolerance for this whole, we don't have body camera. What? Where you been? Where have you been? Have you not been paying attention to what's happening around the country? So attorneys for Goodson's family say that he was shot while walking into his home and that his grandmother and two toddlers, who are not his children, witnessed the shooting. If in fact that's true, can you imagine how his grandmother feels this morning? Would you ever feel secure in your home again if something like that happened to you? Police say that it was a gun that was later recovered from the scene. From what I've read, that Mr. Goodson was a licensed concealed and carry holder. There's conflicting reports out there. If you've got better information than me, please share it. I want to hear it. The lawyers for Mr. Goodson say that with the evidence that's available right now, that there's a lot of questions, a lot of concerns as to why he was even confronted while entering his home. They say that even if he was carrying a gun, he had a license to do so. See, that's when it gets real sensitive being non-white in America. Because, yeah, the laws all apply to you. All the laws apply to you. Yeah, you have the right to carry a gun until something happens. And then it's like, oh, you got a gun. Like, wait a minute, this is a legally purchased and I can legally carry this firearm. But yeah, you got a gun. Yeah. In an open carry state, why is law enforcement so sensitive about black people that have guns? Shouldn't you wait to ascertain as to whether it's legal or not? So yeah, police recovered a gun, but from what I'm reading, he had a license to do so. Maybe it was his legally registered firearm, Second Amendment. And where's the NRA? Where are all the Second Amendment advocates? Where are all the pro-Second Amendment gun advocates when it's a non-white person that gets killed in a situation like this? Shouldn't they be flooding the block, flooding the media, saying, hey, wait a minute. We got to stand for our rights. Where are they? Maybe they'll step up. Maybe it's early. I mean, it's amazing out here. Like, it's situations where, you can threaten police officers, like we talked about on Monday. Happened up in, what part that was? It was in Ohio, but it wasn't in Columbus. Police said, look, get out the car. He's like, nah. Police said, look, we're going to put our dog on. He said, you do that, I'm going to shoot you. Nothing happens to him. Not that I wanted anything to happen to him, but again, the two officers in that particular video I played for you showed they have to be the model police officers, right? Meanwhile, dude doesn't even get confronted. He just gets shot. No words. No words. This is yet another example of what makes black people want to holler as we go into 2021. Just another example, family. Just another example. If in fact the reports are true, if in fact what we are getting right now stands the test of scrutiny, and again, not having all the details on the laws, but listen, when you as a civilian make a mistake that costs somebody their life, your ass is dealing with jail time. It should be the same way with a member of law enforcement. It should be no different. You don't get a chance to mistakenly kill somebody and then go back to your job, in my opinion. Like I told you, if I ruled the world, vis-a-vis Nas, then things would be a little different. But I do not. Again, even if he was carrying a gun, this is an open carry state. You can openly carry a weapon. You can conceal a weapon if you don't have any what they call disabilities. How's that used against you? Did the police officer think that his Subway sandwich was a gun and it was in his hand and that he was about to go into the house and commit some kind of crime? He might have, but that's how you deal with it? I mean, think about how dangerous that is. Let's in fact say, just for the sake of argument, let's say for the sake of conversation, that the officer righteously believed that he was watching what was about to be a violent crime be committed. And so he acted. Well, my question is, this is how you freaking act? Man, if that's your mentality, if law enforcement can do that, then literally every last one of us is potentially a target. You can just stand on the streets and say, what's that? He's reaching for his coat. I think he's about to carjack somebody, and just shoot him. Just whip out on him and shoot him. And then you realize, oops, my bad. It was just his phone. He was calling his wife. That's proper police procedure? Wait a minute. I think that's a gun. And even if it was a gun in his hand, whatever happened to the good old fashioned, let's figure out what's going on before we pull our firearm and shoot. They could have shot it. He could have shot into the house and killed somebody that was innocent. Hypothetically, the person that he was trying to save. Again, we'll have to wait for more details to come out. But this is a damn shame. This is a damn shame. It's the Franklin County Sheriff's Office and the Columbus Division of Police are investigating this. And now we're reading that the U.S. Attorney in Ohio, the Villar's office, is looking into it as well. That's the Trump department. Speaking of which, I saw somebody on Facebook. No. It was on Twitter. It was a reporter on Twitter said that, speaking of the U.S. Attorney's office, that Fanon Rucker's name was coming up as a possible replacement as the next U.S. Attorney. That's interesting. White women, white Democrats failed us all. Thank you, white female Democrats in Hamilton County. You failed all of us. Thank you in that race between Dieters and Fanon Rucker. Thank you. Appreciate that. Way to go. What a team. Yeah, really came through for us, white female Democrats. Appreciate that. The world we live in. Listen, I'm just telling you what I know. I don't make the rules here. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. You see my number up on the screen right there. Some stories to start your morning. Get you started right. Yeah, it ticks me off, man. It makes me feel insecure. I mean, it can happen to me. It happened to me. Something like that can happen to anybody. Any non-white person. I mean, does those kind of things happen? Do those kind of things happen to white folks? Yes, it does, but not at the same rate, in my opinion. Nowhere near. But what do you think this morning? 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts again, that's a free phone call anywhere in the country and in some places across the world. There is one maxim, though, or rule. Open your mind before you open your mouth. Simple as that. Other than that, tis with the flick of my wrist, we keep going. We keep going. We keep going. We keep going. Let me talk a little local news here because I want to give you a heads up as to what happened. It was shortly after we got off the show yesterday. Oh, yeah, and if you missed it, make sure you circle back around and check out the Valley Service podcast hosted by Fast Pitch last night. She, a few months ago, got a chance to speak directly with Grandmaster Jay. That's the brother that's the leader of the FNAC, not effing around coalition. He's been arrested. Yeah, he got arrested. I didn't know this. He got arrested in Cincinnati. I didn't know that. Yeah, Cincinnati got all kind of connections. But she did a reverse timeline. She did a timeline of sorts, kind of talking about it and making some very interesting, drawing some very interesting parallels and putting a lot of really interesting information out there about what's going on in Louisville surrounding not only the arrest of Grandmaster Jay. And I know people got thoughts about whether he's an agent and he's on the inside or whatever. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting pod. Check it out. It's up on Facebook right now. Coming up today at 1 p.m., the Truth to Power podcast hosted by the Cincinnati NAACP. And they'll be talking about, how to push the Black agenda. Today at 1, CDM. But let me talk about this. So, number one, I disagree. Let me check this out. I disagree with Jason Williams. Jason Williams says that Kevin Flynn is the right fit to replace P.G. Sittenfield on Cincinnati City Council. Now, that P.G. Sittenfield voluntarily stepped down this week for a suspension while he's fighting his corruption charges. And Kevin Flynn, I ain't feeling him. I'll be honest with you. Seems like a nice enough guy, but hell no. Hell no. It's just amazing to me how nobody black is getting a shot. I'm just being honest with you. It's just amazing to me that nobody's black is getting a shot. We'll have to figure it out because Winkler, probate court judge Ted Winkler, is going to make the decision. See, people be sleeping on probate judge court. People's out there like, oh, probate court is nothing. I'm like, every And I didn't know this, but my general attitude to any elected position, I don't care what it is, it's important. You have people out there like, probate court, that don't matter. It all matters. And now we're seeing just how much it matters. It's always the fine print. Don't let nobody tell you that these particular races don't matter. They all matter. Every last one. I don't give a damn what it is. It all matters. It matters who's in that position. And now we're seeing that could have been Pavan Parikh. That could have been Pavan Parikh making that decision. Something tells me that he's probably would have chose something different than Ted Winkler. I'm just saying. Every elected position matters. All of them. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. If they do, they don't know what they're talking about. Ignore them. Ignore them. They all matter. Whether you know every detail or not. And now we're learning. Ted Winkler, Republican Hamilton County probate judge Ted Winkler, who is just reelected, is about to appoint another person on city council. You had no idea back in November that he had this power, did you? I'm not going to tell you I knew that either. But my general attitude to any elected position is it matters. That's why I talk to everybody. I don't care what you're running for. Recorder, you can be the court jester. I want to talk to you. Period. Who is Ted Winkler going to appoint to replace PG Sittenfield? And if people think that politics don't play a role in this, you is a damn fool. If you think that politics don't play a role in everything we seeing with all this stuff, the corruption charges, all this, you are a fool. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. It most certainly is playing a role of it. I ain't telling you I got all the details because I do not. If I had, I'd tell you. You know I would. I don't have the details yet. They may be forthcoming. Keep your eyes on the Nathan Ivey Show. But if you think that politics doesn't play a role, who's going to be the next mayor, who controls the majority on city council, if you think that don't play a role in this, you are a damn fool. Period. Of course it does. Look at what's happening. And so Jason Williams, and again, I'm glad we got a Jason Williams in Cincinnati. I mean, I take shots at him and talk about some of the stuff, but it gives me something to talk about, right? And he's got an insight and connections, which I think is valuable. So shout out to Jason Williams. We need a Jason Williams in Cincinnati media. I haven't put it that way. Some folks might disagree with that, but it is what it is. But anyway, I disagree with this whole Kevin Flynn thing. We've been there, done that, seen that. And can we get some new blood? We already don't have balance in terms of racial diversity and a proper reflection of representation in Cincinnati. Because the Republican Party, they've never seen a black man they want to put in leadership. Hamilton County Republican Party. Well, what have they done for black men or black people in leadership lately? I'll wait. Tell me. Jeff Pastor? Yeah. It's just so funny how that works because, again, I keep telling this story. I'll tell it again. That I got a chance to interview face-to-face the Hamilton County Republican Party chairman about 2-3 years ago for a podcast. It never was released. And I challenged the dude. I'm like, well, what are y'all doing to court the black vote? And what are you doing to address the issues of the black electorate? You know what this mofo told me? This mofo told me some Jeff Pastor. Huh? You mean the same Jeff Pastor that you threw under the bus when you said throw the bums out? As soon as Jeff Pastor hit, and again, Jeff Pastor has not, and again, we don't know what may happen. He may cop a plea. But at this point, as I understand, he hasn't copped a plea at all, right? And the Hamilton County Party Chairman, Alex Triantafilou, goes on That's So Cincinnati podcast with Jason Williams and says, throw the bums out. You mean by bums, you talking about Jeff Pastor? So now he's a bum. So now he's a bum. That's what he said. Throw the bums out. You mean the same brother that you was touting as the crown shining achievement of your diversity efforts? Now he's a bum? That's the only word you come up with? Bum? Says something. Says something. Says something. And then the Hamilton County Republican Party put, what's his name, Steve Goodwin? I don't know Steve Goodwin. I think Black Russia called in yesterday and said some good things about him. I mean, I would assume he's a good guy, but this whole he's an adult thing, that's disrespectful. You're no more an adult than anybody else. What are you, 50? You're talking about people that's in their 30s with children, the whole 9 yards. Everybody's an adult. They just made some perhaps bad decisions. You ain't no more an adult. But that's the all-white father coming in. I'm going to come to the plantation because you children need me. The hell? We don't need that. Talking about we're going to get back to basic services. If you're just going to do basic stuff, then let's get somebody else down there. And now Jason Williams says that we need a retread. Now, you know me, I got nothing against Kevin Flynn, but in general, if we're going to do this whole new faces on city council thing, can we get some new fucking faces? I'm sick of these retreads. Same old folks that was there before. You was on city council before Kevin Flynn. Everybody thought you was going to run for re-election, but you was all caught up in your feelings. I don't want to work with these people. So you decided not run for re-election, and now you should be reappointed to council. Why? To do what? For what reason? What's your ideas? What's the ideas? I want to hear the ideas first. He might have some dynamite ideas. That would be a little bit, I'd be more open to that. But just because, hell no. I want to see some new, fresh faces, some new blood, a new generation, some new people. If we're going to do this whole 8 seats on city council open thing, a couple things I want to throw out there. Number one, let's renegotiate the way that we elect and also the rules that govern city council. It would be a huge mistake for us as voters in Cincinnati to just vote for new 8 people or a new council. That's the easiest route. The much more difficult and more impactful route is a whole reorganization of it. Like I said, these folks at Fair Cincinnati talking about a hybrid system. You know, some folks will be at large. Some people will be in a district. Let's look at it. Let's do something different. Keep doing the same ish over and over again is what starts with an I. Insanity. Why would we do that? Why would we do that? They're talking about now we want to take city council out the deals. I mean, come on, ease up, knee-jerk reaction. Ease up with the knee-jerk reaction. Let's think this all the way through now. I mean, I'm all about making sure we've got some real, legislation ideas, policy in place to deal with corruption that seems to be an issue right now. But let's ease up. Take your foot off the brakes a little bit. All right, chill on that. And I don't want to see the same old damn faces that used to be on council. Now they're back because they got name recognition. That's why I put Kevin Flynn. Like, I really wasn't all that impressed with Kevin Flynn when he was on a city council before. I really wasn't. I mean, I'm sure he did a lot of great things. I can't remember any of them. So we have to wait and see. Again, a couple points I want to make here. Number one, every single race matters. Don't let nobody tell you differently. Don't let them tell you, because they don't know what they're talking about. They all matter. And now we're starting to see just how much that probate court really matters. We here at CDM focused on it. We featured on it. It all matters. Now we're seeing Ted Winkler gets a chance to temporarily appoint 2 people. That's a valuable position to be in. You can't put a value on that because now you get a long runway for a possible re-election bid in a year. It's the next best thing. It's the best thing that you can do, actually. Like if you're looking at running for city council in 2021, right? The best thing that can happen to you is that you get appointed a year before that. You get a whole year to be on city council. People see you at city council. You get a chance to be in the media. You're in the press conferences. Your name recognition going up. That is hella valuable. And Ted Winkler's making that decision. Republican. I'm just saying. I mean, is there any black people that can get appointed on city council? God damn. Or is it going to be all white everything? I'm just saying. There's no qualified black folks that Jason Williams knows of, that Ted Winkler knows. I'm just saying. Because right now it's out of balance. Depending on where you go, 42 to 45% of the city is African-American, black. Right now, 33% of the city council is black. That's not reflection. That's not representation. Damn, is it just me? Damn. Can we get some love and some diversity down there? Come on now. Damn. Just saying. You know, I keep it real. I said the same thing when Tamaya Denard left about the Democrats and P.G. Sittenfield. It should be a black female. What did they do? Jan Michelle and McCurney. I'm just saying. Say what you want. The proof is in the pudding. It is what it is, homie. It is what it is. But what are your thoughts this morning? 513-873-7131. I'm sorry, 7134 is my number. I'm on one this morning. I'm sick and tired of this nonsense. Some damn Kevin Flynn. Why? For what? So he can bloviate and bore the hell out of us for the next 7-8 months? Oh, my God. He's talking again. Please stop. Please somebody intercede and do something different. I don't want to hear that nonsense. If you're not closing the gaps, if your intent on city council, this is my personal view, is to not, if your mission on city council is anything other than closing the gaps, I ain't got no love for you, period. I don't give you who you are. I don't care what your party affiliation is. If that ain't coming out your mouth, where are we going? What else are you going to do here? Are we going to restore the basic services? What you mean, like trash? I think that they've got a sanitation department for that. When you talking about basic services, I don't want to hear that nonsense. You better come down there and inspire us. Better go down there and come down with some ideas that's going to close the gaps. It's going to raise the bar for everybody. If you ain't doing that, I don't want to see you down there, period. I don't care who it is. Black, white, Asian, you fill in the blanks. Democrat, Republican, charter right, independent. What in this point, at this particular time, all that, I'm not going to get indicted by the feds. I don't expect you to get indicted by the feds. I don't care. I'm not impressed by that. I'm going to run against corruption. You're going to run against corruption? Man, if you don't sit your ass down, I don't want to hear none of that. Opportunistic mofos, I don't want to hear that. Close the gaps. Raise the bar. Make sure the renaissance happening in Cincinnati hits everybody. If you ain't doing that, we don't need you. I don't need you. Let me speak for myself. I don't need you. Talking about some basic services. The hell? What did they just say? What does that even mean? I don't want to hear that nonsense. See, we got to challenge these people. I'm going to challenge them. I'm going to push you on this show. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Whether I know you and I'm friendly or not, do not come on Nathan Ivey Show talking about some damn basic services. Because I don't even know what that means. You had to explain that to me. I want to be inspired. I want the big ideas as it relates to our community. I want to know what you're going to do about these 40,000 affordable housing units. I want to know what you're going to do about closing the racial wealth gap. That's what I want to know. What's your plan? What you doing? If you ain't got no plan for that, it's going to be a rough ride. It's going to be a rough ride for our interviews because I don't want to hear no nonsense. Same old blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, I got you. That sounds great. You got pretty colors on your campaign website. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. I don't want to hear that nonsense. The time is too serious. So I ain't feeling it. Speaking of local politics and government, have you heard that Wendell Young has now announced that he is running for, guess what? The mayor of Cincinnati. Quote, our government is broken. Our government is broken. I saw the images of him. It was actually a video of him going over to the Hamilton County BOE, Board of Elections, yesterday, and he submitted the documentation. And they talked with him a little bit. They asked him about P.G. Sittenfield because, they're both Democrats. He said that he supported PG Sittenfield, but he got issues right now. So he going to take a shot at it, and we'll see what happens. I ain't got no problem with it. It's fair. He's running for mayor. And I want to get your thoughts. So in the last, 3 days now, 2 African-American men, 2 black men have announced that they are running for mayor of Cincinnati. Now that means a grand total of 3 black men are running for mayor in the city of Cincinnati. You got Brother Raphael Prophet. You got State Senator Cecil Thomas. And you've got current city councilman Wendell Young, all black men running for the mayor of the city of Cincinnati. So let's run through this real quick. You got Kelly Prather, black female Democrat running for mayor. You got David Mann, white male Democrat running for mayor. Coincidentally, he likes to put white Amadeus wigs on black kids in his campaign ads. I can't wait to see what he does for mayor. White wigs for everybody. They might even just like fly a helicopter over Avondale and just throw out white wigs. It wouldn't be dope, actually. Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. That wouldn't be dope. Where are we at? So we got Kelly Prather. We've got David Mann, white male Democrat. We have Raphael Prophet, black male Democrat. We have Wendell Young, black male Democrat. And we have Cecil Thomas, black male Democrat. And there's other names out there that people are saying might get into the race. Damn. So what does this tell me? Well, it tells me something about how these individuals, like with Cecil and Wendell getting into the race, the way I read it is that from their position, the way they're looking at it, is that they must see the end of PG Sittenfield's ability to get elected as mayor. Because they didn't jump into the race until after these charges came out. So from their standpoint, they must be looking at it as if, okay, PG don't have a shot no more. That's fair. It totally makes sense. I get it. But I'm just telling you what it says to me as I'm reading it. That's fair. It is what it is. It also tells me something about how Wendell views the race already, because Wendell was the last dude to sort of put his name out there after, the news about Cecil Thomas. So Wendell, if I'm Wendell Young and I'm the last person to put my name in here, I don't know. Maybe he's been thinking about it for a while. And if you've been thinking about it, what's that window since the allegations came out about PG Sittenfield? What was that, a month ago? I'm not sure how long ago it was, maybe a month ago, maybe. Interesting. So with Wendell Young joining the race, what is your opinion? Who's your front runner? Who is your personal front runner? And we still have to add PG Sittenfield to it in case I missed something. As I understand it, he's still a part of the race. So you got to add PG Sittenfield's name to that. PG Sittenfield, white male Democrat. So you got, 6, 7 candidates? And the possibility is that more people might join the race. Now, I'll be honest with you. From a media standpoint, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. For me, it's more to talk about. It makes it more interesting when there's more people involved. And that primary coming up is going to be real interesting. It's going to be very interesting. The primary is right around the corner. It's like 4 months from now, literally. As a political scientist, as a mad political scientist such as myself, I love it. I love the political season, nonstop. I love it. It's going to be interesting. As a citizen, it gives me more choices. It gives me more choices. If you remember, I was hoping that Christopher Smitherman would stay in the race for mayor because the drama. I want to see what's going to happen. I want to see all of it. And that's a name, that's a person that could still get into the race. Could change some things. So we shall see, fam. I want to get your thoughts about what that means. Anything I've discussed so far is open for discussion this morning. I want to keep it on that unless you got some breaking news that we just have to talk about. Let's try to keep it on that this morning, at least for the first hour or so. And again, I want to get your thoughts at 513-873-7134. I'm in the chop shop. This morning. Fox writes, rise and shine, young stars. Hey, good morning to you, Fox. Miss D writes, greetings. Good morning and greetings to you, Miss D. Ray writes Grand Risings all. Grand Risings, Ray. Pat writes good morning. Pamela writes good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hey, good to see everybody. Crystal writes good morning. Sharp writes good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Fox writes, look at me. I ain't your enemy. We walk on common ground. We don't need to fight each other. What we need, solidarity. I like it. Is that a lyric? If so, you got me on that one. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It is a beautiful Wednesday. Hump day. Tracy writes, hi. Fox writes, greetings, my good friend, and might I add, my favorite chopper, Tracy. Okay. You still getting punched in the throat? Okay, they talking on each other. Crystal writes, i.e., it's the intro music for me, hump day. Oh, that is some dope intro. That is some dope intro music right there. I like it. The song is called Pep Talk, so it's supposed to get you up. I want to get you pumped up in the morning, get you going. I want to get you going, get out there and get your grind on. You know what I'm saying? Every single morning. Cassandra writes, hey, Choppers, Nate for mayor. Yeah, Omar is silly, man. Where you at, Flo Maney? He posted this in the Friends, like the Nathan Ivey Show page yesterday. I think he took the image. I need to change that image as a matter of fact. I'm not running for mayor. That's a little bit beyond my reach. That's a bit beyond my reach. I know where my wheelhouse is, but I appreciate the love, though. Y'all funny. That's hilarious. Nathan announced that he's running for mayor. I might as well, right? Everybody else is. That's hilarious. Mike Jones writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you. Biden appoints black woman as housing secretary. Never mind. Oh, you're right about that. See, that's Ohio news right there. Marcia Fudge, I believe it is. Yeah, Ohio's in the news. Ohio's in the news, man. We in the news. Yeah. She's going to lead the Department of Housing and Urban Development. That's big news right there. Ohio's in the news. Ohio Congresswoman Marcia Fudge is President-elect Biden's pick to run the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. I love that. Hold on, we got a call coming in. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Who the fuck are you? Why do you keep calling? You fucking trap.
Whoa. What the hell? I don't know what the hell that is. Listen, when the show starts to grow, then, trolls start to get on their radar screen. So I don't know. Call me back with that nonsense, man. Get yourself together. But again, back to what I was saying. Pardon me. I got a sneeze coming on. So if confirmed, Fudge, who represents parts of Cleveland and Akron, he's calling me back from Nevada. Nah, don't make me block that call, B. Please don't. I don't got time for it. Call me back another day. If confirmed, Fudge, who represents parts of Cleveland and Akron, and is a former chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, would be the second black woman to lead the department. Patricia Roberts Harris held the job under Jimmy Carter, becoming the first black woman to be a member of the United States cabinet. So this is big. This is big potentially. Hold on, let me dead this real quick. All right, there it is. Put some dirt on it. There it is right there. Let me see. So that's big right there. That's big. And I think she'll do a better job than the current fella who had COVID. You know what I'm talking about? Whose wife is a tremendous singer. She is a tremendous, she got pipes. She is a tremendous vocalist. Would you like to hear? Would you like to hear? I'd love to hear it. 513-873-7134. That's big news right there. Marcia Fudge. That's great. Fudge led the charge to defend hungry families across the country from cruel and unnecessary cuts to SNAP and other vital programs and services, the CBC, that's Congressional Black Caucus, added. And apparently she has their full backing. She's also a close personal friend of House Majority Whip James Clyburn, who, I don't know what they're going to do for him by what. I'm talking about the Biden administration, but we already know Clyburn delivered South Carolina during the primary at a time when Joe Biden's candidacy was on the ropes, looking like Nate Robinson out here. Well, not nearly, because Nate Robinson got knocked out and Joe Biden never got knocked out per se. But you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Let me see here. Hold on, I got to block some stuff real quick. All right, thank you. All right. The formal announcement is expected later this week. Biden-Harris transition aides didn't immediately return a request for a comment. I'm reading from an article, obviously, so you can check it out for yourself. All right, 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts this morning, I would love to hear them. What are your thoughts? We've been talking about everything from a very tragic story that comes from Columbus, Ohio, of a black man that it appears to be, by all the early, media reports, was completely innocent. All this dude was doing was coming back home. He had a Subway sandwich or some type of sandwich, and it looks like it was a case of mistaken identity. He was shot and killed as he was entering his home by a police officer, by a white male police officer. I got the image for you right here. Isn't that sad? That's absolutely terrible. Plus, I gave you some details on what people are talking about in terms of who's going to replace PG Sittenfeld, and also someone new that's running for the mayor here in the city of Cincinnati. So a lot to talk about at this point. Let me go back to the chop shop. Good morning. Good morning. Let me see here. Clue Magic Rice, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Sharp Rice, why no body camera on the officer? Yeah, I mean, at this point, why no body cam? I don't get it. I don't get it at this point. What's the backstory? Why were the cops even there? Apparently, they were looking for a fugitive. They were looking for somebody that they suspected was a part of a crime. And it's not clear whether they think that this particular individual was the person who, they were looking for. Initially, it's like they were looking for a suspect. Maybe he fit the description or something like that. The officer thought that he had a weapon. He saw a weapon and was trying to maybe break into a home. I might be reading more into it that was really there. I'm not really sure. But that's initially what they said. All right. So what do you think? 513-873-7134. If you like to share your thoughts this morning, I would love to hear them. I'd love to hear them. Somebody's playing games with my phone, but luckily for me, I know just how to deal with it. Hold on one second, family. Let me deal with this nonsense. Some people don't have better things to do. Somebody wants to send me a bunch of text messages. That's fine. You can send me text messages. Go right ahead. I don't mind at all. Go right ahead. Let me see here. We talked about Wendell Young. Again, I want to get your thoughts about that. Do you think that Wendell Young... So who's your front runner? That's my question. I mean, you got all these names here for the Democrat primary. Who's your front runner? Of the names I put out there, who would you like to see become the next mayor of the city of Cincinnati? If you live in Cincinnati in particular, I want to get your thoughts on it. Tracy Rice, thought about Tamir Rice lately? Tamir Rice, that was Cleveland. Yep. 12-year-old was playing with a BB gun or something like that. I guess a concerned citizen called in. I remember playing that audio tape, and to the credit of the concerned citizen, in the call, the citizen says, I think it might be a toy gun. I blame the officers. Officers rolled up. One of them jumped out the car while the car was moving, TJ Hooker style. Did a Chuck Norris action roll, just opened up and started shooting the young guy. Killed this boy. Talking about I don't know what they talked about. Drove the car up into the grass next to him. It's like, what the hell? It goes to show you the mentality of some of these officers, man. It's like they live to do something crazy. Oh, man, we got it. Oh, we get to use our training. Remember it's first day of training? Let's use it. Yeah, let's go. Huh? It's like, ease up, man. Chill, bro. Chill. Chill. I'm inside the Friends page. I'm sorry. I'm inside the Chop Shop right now. What gets to me is the slow drag of the feet when there is a clear-cut case of murder. Right. You're right about that, Ray. When there's an officer-involved shooting and it's clear that the officer did nothing wrong, the information comes out the same night. Oh, you get the body cam, you get surveillance. The chief will make a statement. Looks like the officer did the right thing. But when the officers do the wrong thing, they slow walk the hell out of it. They slow walk the hell out of it. The other day, I told my son it was time for bed, right? Kids hate going to bed because they feel like they're going to miss something. It's going to be a party while I'm sleeping. No, we all going to sleep, man. And so he starts walking, like inching to his room, like barely raising his feet. And that's what the police do when there's an officer-involved shooting and the police are wrong. They move just as slow as my son does. When I want him to go to bed, he's like, it's the slowest walk ever, right? You're so right about that. You're so right about that. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag team and I. Good morning to you. Mason Marler writes, morning, Nathan the Choppers. Hashtag flows, rated E for everybody. Hashtag what's your relationship with your president? Hashtag hey, Mr. Watt. Hashtag catch you on the rebound. Tanika writes, good morning, Nathan the Choppers. Mr. Muller writes, Jason Williams is Peter Bronson Jr. Hashtag spec. Yeah, Peter Bronson was a lot of fun. He was a lot of fun. He brought a lot of fun to the Cincinnati media landscape. You know, he took some strong opinions. It was fun. It was fun. Same thing with Jason Williams. That's fun to me. Gives us something to talk about and something to think about. People go to his column because they get something out of it. Whether they like it or not. It is what it is. Can Cincy get a recall measure? Please, right. I'm with you on it. Recall for mayor and city council. Simple as that. We would be foolish to go into this next season just voting for city council. That would be the most foolish thing that we could do. It would be far smarter if not only do we vote for a brand new supermajority on council and a new mayor, but new rules that govern and guide the way they move. Perhaps even new rules as to how we elect city council members. Again, I want to go back to Fair Cincy. Matter of fact, I'm going to reach out to Fair Cincy and see if we can get somebody on to get their thoughts about how the changes that they're proposing might have an impact in how council members will act. Because the thing, we don't know yet. I'm curious to see how that would be differently. Like if you had a council person that was elected to a district and was responsible for a particular district, how would that govern their movements? Also, I want to say this again. What's the use of having community councils if they ain't got no real muscle? What's the use of having community council if they ain't got no real muscle? They don't have no real say-so. It's just a recommendation. It's just words. What happens if you have a community council and there's a development deal and the community council is like, nah, this is bad for the block. But the city council is like, no, this is going to be on your block. Well, as it stands right now, city council does what they want to do. That's the way it's set up. Is that fair? Is that good for the people? Smarter people than me can figure it out. I'll throw it out there. Fox writes, Tamaya going to be on Lincoln's show today. Oh, really? Interesting. Looking forward to hearing what she has to say. Yeah, that should be interesting. I may reach out to her myself. Is Cincy ready for the school Maynard Jackson, who stopped development until Black residents and companies got tangible contracts and no pass-throughs? I don't know about that. That might be what time it is. Iris writes, good morning, great people. Good morning to you, Iris. Lynn writes, good morning, great people. Sharp writes, damn Russian. Pocket dial. Tracy Rice pronounced Marsha. Marsha, thank you for that. Damn, the trolls are out early this morning. Yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, they are. I mean, come on, man. Dude, go play. Go play. Grown folks got things to do. Jericho Rice, hola, beautiful black people and the others too. Please lift my mother up in your prayers. She's currently in the hospital. Thank you in advance. Damn, Jericho, I'm not happy to hear that at all. So definitely prayers up and positive vibes to your family and to your mother as well. Is it COVID? You don't have to tell us, of course. But people are saying prayers up, absolutely, to Jericho. A lot of good people are saying prayers up. Appreciate that. Graxton writes, good morning, Alt Middle. A lot of prayers up. Mason Mahler writes, Peter Bronson was racist AF. Ray writes, has anyone seen American Skin movie trailer? I can't wait. I haven't seen it yet. American Skin, haven't seen it. Black Russia writes, Black Russia's Power 5 candidates for city mayor. Number 5, David Mann. Number 4, David Pepper. Number 3, Christopher Smitherman. Number 2, Cecil Thomas. Number 1, Mark Mallory. Well, your number 3 is Christopher Smitherman, right? That's quite interesting because as I understand it, Christopher Smitherman hasn't announced that he's running for anything right now. Yeah, he hasn't announced he's running for anything right now. So I don't know. We have to wait and see. Let me see. Fox writes, what's good, BR? My brother from the hill. Good morning to you. Let me see. I can't argue with that, Fox. Anyone in my top 5 can win. Are you telling us something, BR? I know you close to Christopher Smitherman. As I understand it, Smitherman has not announced that he's running for anything. As I understand it. He hasn't announced that he's running for anything just yet. So what does that mean exactly? You tell me. Hold on one second here. Got to deal with the trolls, man. Some people have nothing better to do. I'll take it as a sign that you must be doing the right thing. You must be on the right track. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. So, let me see. Smitherman, hashtag number 1 for Fox. Okay. Smitherman would not be my number 1. I'll be honest with you. Nothing against the brother, but he wouldn't be my number 1 on that list. My personal list. Now, in terms of being a strong candidate, I can't deny that. I think he'd be a super strong candidate at this point for mayor for a lot of different reasons. Would he be able to beat Cecil Thomas and some other folks out there? I'm not really sure. Hold on. We got a quick call coming in. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning, Nathan. This is Lee Burden with Realtor.com. How are you today?
Doing well.
Good. I was calling about the property inquiry on Buckeye Circle in Columbus. Does that ring a bell?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, all right. I must have the wrong number then.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea. Yeah, I think some trolls are like sending messages to my phone and things like that. But just give me 1 second. There's a way around everything. There's a way around everything. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, so I think one of the trolls has sent a whole bunch of numbers to this particular phone, but way around everything. Let me see. Right. There we go. Great. Good. There it is. All right, great. We golden now. All right, appreciate that in advance. Sorry about that, but the trolls are playing games with the phones. I mean, this is what little people do. This is what people that have nothing better to do with their time do. But I just dealt with it. All right, so back to your chat here. Jericho writes, thank you, and no signs of COVID. Thank God. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Let me see here. Great. Fox writes, where's Trigger and Fame? I bet they're getting they breaking routine together for the Olympics. Trigger? Who's Trigger? Smitherman is a black voter problem. Is he really a problem, though? Again, I think he would be a strong contender. I'll definitely say that. He's got, I think, the elements that could definitely make for a very strong candidate. We'll have to wait and see. I hope he does get in the race. I think it'll be interesting. Again, way back before this stuff happened to PG Sittenfield, you know what I said? I want to see him in the race. I was disappointed when he jumped out the race, quite honestly. Because from a media standpoint, I was ready for the battle. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I was going to get my popcorn. And then hopefully along the way, we get some substantive dialogue that we as voters can get something out of. Mason Marler writes, where is the first gangster president? ? Bunker, yeah, Trump. Just because you say that Warren County don't make it true. Okay, they're going back and through. Let me see. Tamaya69 writes, good morning, Nathan. PG and his goons are not happy about what you did. He just called me. I told him to call you. Okay, what did I do exactly? Lawrence writes, vice mayor vote count in the black community is at an all-time high. Outsider. Is it? Pardon me. I told you I had a sneeze coming on. Is it? I don't know about that. Mason Muller writes, everybody knows Smitherman has a black voter problem when he decided to become the 700 WLW newest version of Sensible Don 2.0, right? Let me see. So I'm reading it. Tomorrow's going to go on Lincoln Show. Well, I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting. And I think that tomorrow will come out and say, hey, my apologies. I got to deal with this. And thank you for the support and learn from my lesson. And that's it. That's what I suspect. We'll see. Only the idiots who do zero homework and repeat what they hear on talk radio believe the vice mayor has a black problem. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Hashtag alt middle. What numbers are you talking about, though? What numbers are you talking about, Black Russia? If Smithman runs for mayor, he's going to need the black vote. He's not going to be elected without the black vote. I could already see he's going to talk heavy. If he runs for mayor, he'll talk heavy about really any citywide position. He'll talk heavy on being the former president of the NAACP. But he's also got to explain the last few years where he's been completely persona non grata, right? Completely turned his back on black media. I'll suspect he'll probably try to get on the Lincoln Ware show. I suspect that. I mean, it just makes sense. I'm not sure if he'll come on this show. I'm not sure. But he is a black man. And I mean, that'll be up for him. I'm not trying to give any free political advice. I mean, that'll be up for him. Again, I want to see it. Again, I'm here for it. Dale writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. Now I'm on Facebook and YouTube. Kelly Prather, who is a candidate for mayor, writes, good morning, great people. Good morning to you. Fast Pitch writes, good morning, all. Hashtag no KDZ zone. Karen and Darren zone. Good morning to you, Fast Pitch. I thought it was a good show last night. Great show last night when she talked about Grandmaster Jay. And also, weaved in some of her previous conversation with Grandmaster Jay. She spoke with him earlier in the year. I thought it was very interesting. Very interesting. And I don't disagree that there's more to that Grandmaster Jay story than what's really being put out there. I don't got all the details, but I don't believe in coincidences. I do not believe in coincidences at all. Tanya writes, hump day, Nate, and the Choppers. Midday juice was good yesterday. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I agree as well. Grasson writes, good morning, hashtag alt middle. KR Mitchell writes, good morning, good people. Good morning to you. Danita writes, good morning, everyone. It is a wonderful Wednesday. Yes, it is. Frenay writes, good morning. Jane writes, good morning. Tiff writes, good morning, all. Dale writes, Nate, share the list of your opening show tracks. Okay, I can do that. I'm not prepared to do it right now. That opening show I've been playing lately is a song called Pep Talk. We need a pep talk in the morning. I need a pep talk in the morning. Sean writes, good morning, people of the sun. Good morning to you. He writes, Kelly Prather for mayor. Arnell writes, grand risings all. Brenda writes, good morning from Fairfield. Sandra writes, this song is wild. I think I like it. Are you talking about the opening song? Absolutely. Jane writes, the officer said he pointed a gun at him while he was driving. Is that right? Pointed a gun at an officer? Or was he plain clothes? Is that right? Yesterday, don't believe. Was he a plainclothes officer or was it like some road rage type stuff? Hold on one second. Hold on, we got a call coming in. Okay, we just lost the call. All right, sorry. All right. Nat writes, good morning, Facebook Choppers. Good morning to you. Alicia writes, God's morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Dale writes, there's more going on than just accidents. I agree completely, 100%. Morning, Nathan and Choppers. That's Glenn. Roosevelt writes, morning all. Hey, good morning to you, brother Roosevelt. Good to see you. Terrence writes, good morning, everyone. Hey, good to see you, T. What's up, Terrence? Samantha writes, good morning, all. Terrence writes, bingo. That's the problem, Nate. We do not have. I need some. Yeah. Bingo. That's the problem, Nate. We do not have the same presumption of legally possessing a firearm in comparison to our white counterparts. Absolutely, we don't. Absolutely, we don't. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show. The hell? Janine writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Terrence writes, we have to end qualified immunity. Absolutely, 100%. All day long. All day long. I agree with you. I agree with you. Terrence writes, he wasn't pursuing a fleeing felon. We need a national standard use of police force policy. I agree with you. I agree with you 100% on that. Would that be something that the Biden administration, let's say that the Democrats get the majority in the U.S. Senate. You know what that means, right? That means that the Democrats will have a super majority. Now, while they don't have a majority in terms of the U.S. Supreme Court, which coincidentally, and by the way, swatted down another Trump completely bogus lawsuit. Listen, if you've read anything on Trump, then you know that what we're seeing from Trump, and by no means should be catching you off guard. Trump is a creature of litigation. This is what he does. These lawsuits, that's what he's been doing his whole life. It's what he does. He stays with an army of lawyers for a reason. Trump's the kind of dude that'll borrow money from a bank and then sue the bank when he doesn't want to pay them back. He's been doing it for years and years and years and years and years. Trump's the kind of person that even when he won the election, he questioned the election. Go back to 2016. When he won the election, he was criticizing states in which Republicans run the elections, saying that the election was wrong because he didn't win by a big enough margin. He won the electoral college vote, but lost the popular vote by 3 million votes. He beat Hillary Clinton because she was like a perfect storm. The two of them together were the most unpopular U.S. presidential candidates to that point in U.S. history. He lucked up, plus he probably cheated. So now Trump has been running all these lawsuits and got all these people with the frivolous lawsuits. They try to run one to the Supreme Court within the last 24 hours. The Supreme Court said, nah, B, we ain't going to be able to do it. Even Trump-appointed lawyers have used the word bizarre in terms of some of the lawsuits that have come before their courts. This is what Trump does. That's why I didn't vote for this fool back in 2016. Or everybody else running around talking about, oh, she went on the Breakfast Club talking about some hot sauce. I was looking at it for what it really needed to be looked, how it needed to be perceived. Same thing with Biden. I don't want to hear nothing about no 90s crime bill. There's a bigger problem in the White House called Trump. You know what I'm saying? You can't look at this the way you would look a normal situation. This is not a normal situation. Where Ice Cube at? Somebody find Ice Cube. If Ice Cube, I'm going to start roasting Ice Cube. If Ice Cube don't step up, I mean, you got to give him some time. You know, we'll wait for the Biden-Harris transition team to get inside. But I want to see that same energy from Ice Cube. All these people was caping up for Ice Cube. I want to see the same energy for Ice Cube or from Ice Cube in terms of trying to work with the Biden administration, because they're going to be in charge in January, as he was trying to put it into the Trump administration. People just don't know that Ice Cube got very close associations with the Trumpsters. Like I said, there was people out there trying to come for my neck because I'm keeping it real with you about Ice Cube. Where they at now? He just trying to talk to both sides. 2 weeks before an election. No tangibles, no policy, nothing whatsoever. But he trying to, that's a smart maneuver to talk with the Democrats and the Republicans. You don't know who's going to win. Now we know who won. Where he at? I hope he turns up. We'll give him a few more months. Because anything is possible. That'd be great. I want to see Ice Cube working with Alicia Garza and with P. Diddy. They should all posse up for their agendas, make it like a super big national agenda, right? Boom, and hit the streets running, put the pressure on them. Anything less than that, Ice Cube was full of ish. I still love his music, though. I'm still a fan of NWA. You know what I'm saying? How do you go from arrest the president to get on your knees and kiss the president's ring? Come on now. Because that's exactly what he did. The left hand or the right hand, Mr. President, which is it? The hiney. Okay. I mean, come on, Ice. Stop it. Yeah, you'll hear more from me on that. Dale writes, what's new? White females supported Trump 55%. I don't trust their damn asses as far as I can see them. Sorry, but facts. You talking about the white female Democrats that didn't vote for Fanon Rucker? One of them wrote a apology letter like, I'm sorry, I blew it, but I just believe the hype about you, scary black man, so I had to vote for Dieters. Huh? What? Terrence writes, I bet you some of those same white women who still voted for Trump and against Rucker are also a part of those who have Black Lives Matter signs in their yard. It's a savvy, woke thing for them to do. Facts. Sustained. Tracy writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you. Terrence writes, he didn't voluntarily step down. If he did, he would be having his assigned designee making his replacement, not a judge. Nat writes, how the hell is a Republican Trumpster a good replacement for a Democrat? Terrence writes, we need to cover what happened accurately. Ballhead writes, good morning. Sandra writes, black people must get organized. Sorry, the communities are struggling. Black businesses need a real voice. Maurice writes, dude is an agent, Mr. Smith from the Matrix, who put dude in that spot. Who told him to lead people like these fake bishops? Who called them to preach to lead? I think Maurice is talking about Grandmaster Jay. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is at this point. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Some people got nothing better to do. It is what it is, though. Let me see. Good morning, Nate and the Choppers checking in from Dallas, Texas. Thank you. Black Cincinnati gets more aggressive and start putting mofos on notice. Dale writes, Smitherman will feel the pressure. Trust and believe. Who is Arya Stark in Cincinnati? What? What? We got a Game of Thrones fan here? Yes, I like that. You're right. Who is the Arya Stark? If we're going to keep the whole Littlefinger, Lord Peter Baelish thing going on. Okay, I see you. I like it. I like Game of Thrones people. I like Game of Thrones black people. I like that. Glenn writes, the way the city council votes can only be charged change after a new council is elected unless you start a referendum. Nat writes, I remember the hate Flynn spewed when Yvette Simpson ran for mayor. F that sucker. Did he? I don't remember that. He was running BS at Yvette? Oh, even more of a reason for me not to like him. I don't want to see Kevin Flynn on city council. Come on, man. There's got to be better people than that. I hope that Winkler is not listening to Jason Williams. Why would we do a retread? And if I remember correctly, and I think I interviewed Kevin Flynn once, the man is, I don't know. I'm not going to go there with him. I'm not going to go there and say nothing like that. I ain't going to go there with him. I'm just going to say that he wouldn't be my first choice. I'll put it that way. He wouldn't be my first choice. What do you think? 513-873-7134. My phone just got blitzed, people. If you've been trying to call in, I had to shut it down because whoever called in and was trying to do that circus act on the show, I ain't got no time for it. If you're a grown person and that's over 18, go play in the street or something, man. Go play with other folks. I ain't really got time for it. So then what happened is I got, maybe about, 50, 60 text messages to my phone. It is what it is. It comes with the territory. You can do better than that, can't you? I ain't impressed. But give me a call now, 513-873-7134. I ain't bothered. It's the internet. Let me see here. Sandra writes, so what needs to be done? Jen Michelle Lemon Curry has to run to keep her seat. Greg and Becky as well. Bus moving. She does. You're talking about Greg Landsman? He does. The difference is Greg he's a name now. He's running as an incumbent. He's actually won a spot on city council already. So, and again, think about it. You got 9 spots. He's the only incumbent. The only one in terms of having run an election. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Nathan, it's Tracy. Why trolls got to make it bad for everybody? Get on my damn nerves.
Yeah, they like to play games with grown folks.
Well, they can go kick rocks with sandals on if they don't have nothing better to do. Silly. So listen, I think you touched on this yesterday a little bit, and there was a lot of talk in the news yesterday evening, and I really started thinking about this. The question pretty much all day yesterday was, can your employer make you take the vaccine? The vaccine is like the breaking news. They're getting ready to come out with a shot any day now. So when they were talking about Walgreens and CVS are going to be the big pharmacies that are going to administer the vaccine, they said once you get the first shot, I guess round 1 of 2, you'll get this card that tells people that you've gotten the shot. And I've heard that with this card, it's going to allow you to do certain things like renew your driver's license, travel, and stuff like that. I don't know how true that is, but if that is going to be the way that they exclude those of us, including myself, who don't plan to take the vaccine, it's going to be a problem. So I think we need to start paying attention to our rights. Like, can our employer actually make us take the vaccine? Now, I'm a contractor for the federal government, and I'm sure that once they bring us all back into the office full time, it's because we've been vaccinated. And I'm wondering if those of us who don't plan to get vaccinated and kind of push back, are we going to be pushed to the side? And I think I realistically know the answer to that question. But, I know you have a chopper who is specialized in employment law, and her practice should start booming, because if people want to push back and they want to sue their employer, good for her. That's going to be cases for her, but it's just going to be a shame, for those of us who are sort of in fear of the vaccine because they made it in 5 minutes, and we don't want to take that in, we're going to be probably out of a job, on the spot. So I think people should really start paying attention to this and listening to who they work for, to see if that's going to be a condition of you staying around, because shit is about to get real out here as far as them making you take this vaccine. But there will be a card, they say, that will be given to you that proves that you have taken the shot. And I started thinking like, damn, who's going to start bootlegging these cards? Because I want one. I do not want this vaccination, period, in the story. But, in the same token, I have to work. I'm not, privileged to not work. My husband and I both work. So, it is what it is. I'll make that decision when I cross that bridge. But, it's going to be scary times here shortly. That's all I had this morning.
Yeah. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. I mean, short answer to that is I believe that employers can make you get a vaccine before you come back into the workplace. Across the board, it ain't black, it ain't white. It's just where we are right now. And, bigger than that, I keep telling people, man, people are like, oh, the government can't make me do this. The government make me. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And I don't want to go down that road. This COVID-19 thing can get out of hand. Like I said, on Monday, we kind of had some jokes about it. And you have some people with the full body plastic cheap hazmat suit. That could be our reality. Yeah, you can be out of a job. You don't get a vaccine. You ain't working here. You can be first to work during the pandemic. Yes, you can. We're seeing it right now. Okay, well, we'll get somebody else to work then. Simple as that. Again, Ohio is an at-will state. You know what that means? You serve at the pleasure of your boss. They can come in tomorrow and say, you know what? The sky is peach. You're fired. We're making a difference. We're changing things. And that's what it's going to be. Simple as that. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Nathan for mayor. That's what's up. I like that. It sounds good on you.
Nathan for mayor?
Good on you. Flo Maney.
What's up, Flo Maney? Good morning.
Nothing much, man. I heard from the captain who's still ducking the Space Force and all of that. Got a little issues with the law. But he said that you're running for mayor. And I tend to go with the captain. When he says something, it comes out. So what's up?
Nah, man, that's not in my plans. But I appreciate the love on that, though, and the support. But nah, that's not my plans.
Why not?
I think there's some steps before that. My arms are long, but they're not that long.
I'm saying you reached the new electric though. The electoral way it's going.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, man, I appreciate the love on that.
It's more towards progressive and stuff.
Yeah, I do.
More progressive than you right now, huh?
Yeah, that's not in my plans though, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's some steps before that.
Come on, man.
I think it's some steps before that though. I think I can definitely tackle. But mayor, that's a little bit beyond my reach, I think.
But never mind all that. Tracy brought up a good point, with this vaccine thing. I seen it coming, but what you gonna do? It comes to that point now. Like, are they gonna shut you down? I mean, there's the people like me, who is not I'm pretty much retired, so it ain't a problem with the job thing. But I'm thinking about other things that they might try to hit me with. Traveling and things of that nature, and different stores they might stop allowing you to go into. How far does this go? If you could get away with the employment part, how far can this go?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Like I keep telling people, man, this is so real. This COVID-19 get out of whack. Like they can't control it, man. You'll be in your house. There'll be rollers, police officers at the end of all the major intersections. They'll have check stops. I mean, this can get out of hand. That's why it's so serious for people to mask up and take it seriously.
But what I don't get is why the sudden push now when all summer and all spring they've been telling us that there's no way you could get a vaccine this quick. What happened? What's the 180?
Well, what they telling us, man, with all the scientists, Dr. Fauci and everybody is telling us is that they got this Pfizer vaccine And it's surprising everybody with its effectiveness. So when they found out it was like 90 or 90+% effective, now they rushed it through the FDA and they're trying to get it into the streets by the end of the year.
So how all of a sudden Fauci could just do this 180 all of a sudden, like, oh, and it's 90%. They ain't never had a flu vaccine that high. What is this? Some special Merlin came through, hit them with the aliens came out and hit them with the formula.
Some of the alien DNA. I don't know, B.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like a few months ago,
they're gonna stop this nonsense, man.
No, I think Fauci's been consistent, though. Like a few months ago, he was on 60 Minutes. They asked him about the vaccine back when it was really, really just early on. He was like, well, I'm going to wait and see. He said, if people I trust vouch for it and the science stands up, then I'll get out here and I'll support it. And it looks like, at least on his angle, Fauci, that's what's happening. Like, this is something that he can really get behind. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it sounds fishy to me. Sounds real fishy. But yeah, that's all I really got.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Listen, I think a lot of these questions can be answered. I've got a couple of guests that are set up to come on the show tomorrow because there's a big push happening throughout Cincinnati media tomorrow, and I want CDM to be a part of it. You might have heard of it. A lot of the local legacy media outlets are getting together. It's called Push to Zero. They're going to all be playing like I don't know if it's a video or a documentary, all at the same time. I believe the CDM will be a part of that as well. And we got the folks from Push to Zero coming on the show tomorrow, along with some people locally that are like top experts when it comes to the vaccine and also COVID-19. That's going to be on tomorrow's show. Okay. And what I'm hoping to do is get them to do like a Zoom call into the show. So I want to give you a heads up. I'm going to try to iron out the issues, for my audio people only to make sure you can hear it tomorrow. But if you got any questions about the vaccine or you got questions about COVID-19 and where we are right now, tomorrow, make sure you listen to the show. Okay. Plus, we'll have the creator of the Push to Zero movement on the show tomorrow as well. That's Regina Carswell. And she'll come on and talk about what they're trying to do with that, what they're trying to accomplish with that. I want CDM to be right there with our audience, being a positive member of the discussion. We want to push people to the healthiest possible outcomes for our community. And I keep telling people, of course, legacy media at this position is in the pole position. But don't discount and underplay the audience that we have here in terms of digital media in this city. Not everybody listens to legacy media. I hear it all the time. I see it all the time. So, I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. So if you have questions about the vaccine or you have questions about COVID-19, tomorrow will be the show for you to make sure you get your questions heard and answered. Okay. Back to the phones we go. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's up, Mr. Ivey? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Welcome, Brother Drop.
In case thank you. This is not a crank call. This is not a troll. This is your West Side Connection. Drop Scott 52. Drop his science. What's up, sir?
The way you say dropping science is hilarious to me, man. Hey, listen, if you call on a 258 number, call me right back. I'll put you straight on. Somebody's trying to call in right now. Hey, but good morning to you, Brother Drop. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, sir. Tracy and Ayatollah Flomaney, shout out to the Alt Middle and all their affiliates. They bringing up great points, Mr. Ivey, because yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, but I know you did. The president-elect, Sleepy Joe Biden, number 46, made his announcements for his plan to attack COVID-19 in the first 100 days. Did you see that, or do you have that clip available?
I did see it, but I don't have the clip available. Give us a rundown.
If you allow me, I'll just read the first paragraph, and I think this is the most important part, and I think it's going to trigger a lot of people, especially those like yourself. Here's what the president said. President-elect Joe Biden on Tuesday promised that his administration would oversee the injection of 100 million COVID-19 vaccine shots within the first 100 days as president and vowed to reopen a majority of schools across the nation in the same time frame. So Mr. Ivey, aka Mr. OCD himself, are you ready to send little Buddha and medium-sized Buddha back to school?
Yeah, when it's safe. Yeah, when it's safe, they can go back to school.
No, it's when Joe Biden says so. He just told you, and I'm sure you probably got your fingers looking for that his speech, but he told you all the schools are going to reopen. Ain't going to be none of this, oh, no, little Billy's mama got COVID, so we shutting the whole school down. No, that's done. So again, Mr. Ivey, just like when Donald Trump took office and the economy started growing, and all of his critics said it was because Obama got the economy right, and Trump just inherited a good situation.
Which is the truth.
So, Mr. Ivey, so will you have that same energy and pronounce that the same way you're going to pronounce that everything that the Biden-Harris administration does in relationship to the COVID-19 advances that were done, Operation Warp Speed, on the Trump administration's watch? Are you going to have the same energy, you, Mr. Mahler, Clue Magic, Mr. Majestic? Will y'all have the same energy and give the Trump administration the credit for the advancement of these COVID-19 vaccines and the way he made sure that the typical regulations, which Democrats just love, all the red tape, all the regulations, we need a committee for this, we need a study for that. So, Mr. Ivey, will you have that same energy when you endorse the Trump administration for all the great things they did related to COVID and allow your little children to get back to school?
Yeah, I mean, where it's logical and it makes sense and it's factual, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, Miss. It's hard to challenge you because you are so consistent, Mr. Ivey. I mean, I'll be trying, but you are really consistent with your rhetoric and your points of view. But before I go, Mr. Ivey, the Biden administration seems to have more diversity than the first Black president's administration. And if you think Joe Biden is going to put another Black attorney general in, you can forget it. Because I think his number one candidate is a white male from, I think it's Alabama, which he will be the second attorney general from Alabama to be appointed within a 4-year period. And we, of course, you know who that first one was, Mr. Beauregard. You know who that is, right? So again, Mr. Ivey, the Obama administration, they had two Black attorney generals, one of the male persuasion and one of the female persuasion. And was there anything done different? Nope, because Michael Brown still got shot. I can go down the list. Black people were still getting gunned down when we had 2 Black attorney generals and a Black president. So I didn't want to come off this quick on politics, Mr. Ivey, because it's not January 21st. We are in a lame duck period, but since the president-elect is making his cabinet picks and he's calling on the race hustlers, he called them to Washington yesterday, or they had some kind of Zoom meeting, including Al Sharpton. So I guess anytime there's any issue, the civil rights community, whoever that is going to be checking Joe Biden every time something ain't Black enough. Really? They didn't do that with Barack Obama, but I digress.
Actually, they did.
America, are you ready for the Obama-Biden remix? That's all I got, sir. You got anything for me before I go?
Well, I'll just make some corrections once you hang up.
You don't want to? Are you saying that I am embellishing? I am taking things out of context, or I'm just flat out lying?
Well, I mean, this assumption that just because you had a Black U.S. Attorney General, that all of a sudden that was going to stop police shootings, I think is a leap. One necessarily doesn't have anything to do with the other.
Mr. Ivey, You know that's the rhetoric and the narrative that's out there. Because the shooting of the man in Columbus that you were talking about on your show, that's the feature of your cover art, is already under investigation by the federal government, i.e. the Trump Attorney General's office, Civil Rights Division, is already taking up this case because the local group that's supposed to investigate the police, I think Irish Rowley knows what this organization is. Soon as there is a police-involved shooting in Ohio or Columbus, they're supposed to go straight to this organization immediately. But they waited, I think, for 3 days, and then they go to this organization to try to get them to investigate it. But they said, we can't take it. It's too late. So again, Mr. Ivey, that's all I got, sir. And thank you for taking my call. But I don't think I was lying about anything. So if you want to correct me, if you want me to hang up, and I'll listen to your correction, but I would love to listen to it while I'm still on the air.
I just told you. I mean, I think that's a leap to believe that just because you have a black U.S. Attorney General, that's going to stop individual shootings in these cities, in these states, in these municipalities. I think that's a leap. That's not really the issue. Well, the issue is the larger scope, the larger scope, in terms of the federal government. Like, what's their relationship with consent decrees? You for it, against it. What's the energy that you emanate from the U.S. Attorney General's office when it comes to these kind of officer-involved shootings? I mean, I think anybody that's being objective will say that there's been a different energy from the Obama administration to the Trump administration. Hell, the Trump administration came out and said, we ain't in favor of consent decrees, and we're not in favor of these kind of agreements like, what Cincinnati has. And basically, it's a local matter. So
okay, but
different
Mr.
energy.
Ivey, okay, do you remember during the immigration discussions a couple years ago when all these state attorney generals got together and filed lawsuits against the Trump administration? You remember that?
No, I don't. Refresh my memory. How is it relevant? What's your point?
Okay, my point is the energy that the Democrats and their local attorney generals, when it came to the sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants, when they all teamed up and filed lawsuits against the Trump, will these Democrats who have these states that have those complied consent decrees, right? Those are state laws. Am I correct?
Well, it's not really state law. It's really an agreement between like the citizens of a particular locale city. In the case of Cincinnati, Hamilton County, City of Cincinnati, and their local law enforcement agency, which is based upon documentation. It ain't just something they come up with. It's based upon of the numbers, like documentation, a history of discrimination. Yeah.
Okay, but will they use this energy and go to the Biden administration when he puts his second Alabama attorney general in, a white male, and have them pressure these state legislators to change the law? Because again, Mr. Ivey, the Biden administration is starting off with the same symbolism over substance when it comes to the Black community and the minority communities. They think if they put a face that matches that group, that everything is going to be fine. But like you say, Mr. Ivey, we need some freaking tangibles.
So you're against diversity in leadership.
Okay, so again, like I said, Mr. Ivey, we still have until January 21st. But Biden is acting like the president now by making all his appointments public. Okay, so again, there's a reason that Al Sharpton and these other so-called civil rights leaders were meeting with the president already, and he's not even in office. So if you're talking about Ice Cube meeting with him, they ain't letting Ice Cube get nowhere near Biden. And you know that, Mr. Ivey. You know it.
How can they stop Ice Cube from reaching out to Biden via email or text or phone call? They can't stop that, man.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, did they stop Tavis Smiley? Did they find a way to stop Tavis Smiley and Cornel West and shut their mouths when they was going after Obama? Did they, Mr. Ivey?
No.
For some strange reason, Tavis Smiley got caught up in the Me Too movement.
Yeah, it's
Was
because
that
he was.
coincidental?
That's because of his own personal bad behavior.
Black men got caught up?
Yeah, that was
How
because of
many
his own
black men
personal
got
bad
caught up?
behavior. Here you are, you the executive, you're the leader in the room, in the building, and you're trying to make the people that work for you your girlfriend. That's a mistake. Black, white, or whatever.
Okay.
It's bad business.
Okay, I'm off the subject, but I think you get the gist of my call, Mr. Ivey. Okay, and everything that's happening right now with the COVID-19, as far as the vaccines and the treatments and the hospitals and all this kind of stuff, happened under Trump. The way it's going to be applied and distributed is going to be under the Biden administration. And he's already telling you people who don't want your kids in school, nope, shut up. Your kids going to school. American schools will be open. So just get ready. And I'm hoping all the same energy that was present these past year. Let's see if that same COVID-19 energy is going to be there for the great white hope, Sleepy Joe Biden. Drop Squad 52 double science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
That black man right there is completely lost. So he wants us to give Trump credit for the fact that Pfizer developed a vaccine. Right now, I think I read that 2,200 people died yesterday of COVID-19. The president has been completely lost when it comes to COVID-19 response. It's been widely reported that for months now, he hasn't even been in the coronavirus update meetings. But he wants us to give him credit. For what? For months and months and months and months, he wouldn't listen to Dr. Fauci and other health experts and was running around at super spreader events, literally spreading COVID because he liked to get on stage and tell jokes. Remember Herman Cain? Herman Cain, black man, chairman of Black Voices for Trump, went to a Trump rally with no mask on, was dancing to Michael Jackson in his seat, and died of COVID. But we're supposed to give Trump some kind of credit. Credit for what? 2,200 people died yesterday due to COVID. But the Trump administration, Trump wants to beat his chest and tell everybody that he did something. What did you do? If you had done this back in March, had you done this back in April or June, you probably would have been reelected, Mr. President, but you did not. He was so consumed with his own ego that he couldn't do what was best for the country. But now Drop wants us to give him some kind of credit. Hilarious. Let's go back to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's happening, Nathan Ivey Chop Shop? This is B.
What up, B? Good morning to you, brother.
Yeah, so I about a week ago, I signed up for this COVID update news thing that Facebook has, and from time to time, Mark Zuckerberg he interviews Fauci, and the last one I heard was about he had asked him a whole bunch of questions about this vaccine and how effective it is, and like you said, you know, he's vouching for it. Fauci's vouching for it, saying it's like 90-some% effective. And he said that he understands that there's a vast majority of people out there, mostly people of color and youngsters who are skeptical about vaccines in general. And he says that part of the solution of getting this thing under control is to get everybody vaccinated. And he also stated that he expects that people will, you know, this younger crowd and the people who are skeptical will wait for like the first wave of people who are vaccinated to see what the effects are before they take it. So I think I'm leaning towards that, you know, wait and see, you know, how the vaccine reacts to people, you know, who are vaccinated before I take it. Because I took a flu shot once a while ago, and I don't know why I did that. I mean, I was young and never really had any sort of immune issues, and I got super sick from that. And so he did say that, you know, there are side effects to this vaccine. You know, you might get your body will have a reaction to it initially. And he said he doesn't expect that to last more than 48 hours at the maximum. So that's one thing that I was thinking about. Another thing is my wife, she worked when we used to live in Cincinnati. She worked at a hospital, and she said that when the flu season came, like in early fall, they were, all the nurses were supposed to get the vaccine, and she said, no, I'm not getting it. So they didn't fire her, but they gave her unpaid leave of absence until the flu season was over with. And so like late winter, like early spring, they contacted her back again and said, hey, flu season's over. You don't have to get the vaccine. Are you coming back to work? So they couldn't really control whether they couldn't make her take the vaccine, but at the same time, they wouldn't let her come back to work, but they didn't fire her either. You know what I mean? So that's one other thing. And the third thing is recently, my parents went to Ethiopia. That's where I'm originally from. And before you get on the plane to go there, you have to show a negative COVID test within like 5 hours. Within 5 days. The test should have been administered within the last 5 days before you get on that plane. But when they came back, they didn't have to submit a negative COVID test. So I thought that was a little interesting how they had to submit a negative test before going there, but coming back to the U.S., they didn't have to show that.
Yeah, that is interesting. Seems backwards from a U.S. perspective.
Right. And it kind of, explains maybe why some of these countries are, why the U.S. is kind of, does not really have any sort of control over how the vaccine is over this pandemic in general. I know there's a whole bunch of other things. It's not the only thing that's, contributing to the numbers, but it's just one other thing that is. So I just wanted to make that commentary and throw that out there for you.
Right. All right. Hey, B, thanks for the call.
All right, man. You have a good one.
Yeah, appreciate you. Take it easy. Terrence writes, do we really think it's a good look for the city when someone who is federally indicted for corruption to be running for mayor? He is innocent until proven guilty, but come on. I agree with you. I agree completely. So, the reality is that we say that you're innocent until proven guilty in this country, but you're not really. Like, non-white people are guilty just by association with your melanin, association with people. And when you're an elected official, the fact that you get an indictment, especially a federal indictment, because the word on the street is that the feds, they never bring an indictment until they know they got you. So, yeah, it all looks bad. But, I keep it consistent, man. It's up to those individuals. I would say to PG Sinfield, it's up to you ultimately as to what you're going to do with that. As I would say to somebody who wants to run for certain offices, I've heard people say they want to run for mayor or run for this. And people are like, oh, why are you doing this? You can't do that. Are you really ready? Your arms are too short. You can't reach that. I tell people if that's what you feel like you want to do, you should do it. And we'll see what happens. I think it's a tough road for Mr. Sittenfeld either way, because and I stand by this, you're innocent until proven guilty. That's the way I look at it, especially as a black man in this country, because black folks, the jails are full of people that either didn't do anything or didn't do the crime that they were convicted of right now. Hell, there's people that's been executed. And then we find out posthumously that, oops, my bad, they didn't really do the crime. So I'm very sensitive to that. But I get what you're saying, though, Terrence. I agree with you 100% in terms of how it looks, 100%. Marsh writes, how many of these people are going to come downtown and talk to the people, ? How many of these people are going to come to the rest of our hoods and see what we want, ? We're going to have to go to them, Maurice. If you wait for City Hall to come to the block, you're going to be waiting till you die. You got to go. You got to take the block to City Hall. Tracy writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Tracy. Maurice writes, glorious resurrection. Brent writes, who is running for mayor of Cincinnati on the Republican side? To this point, no one. The city of Cincinnati is blue. Could a Republican win? Sure. I would never say no to that. It would have to be a very charismatic and a very unique slate. That's why I say, the closest in terms of Republican, in terms of name that's come out is Christopher Smitherman. Y'all can say what y'all want, say what y'all want. I know some Smitherman supporters out there. I ain't hating on the brother, but he does lean to the right side, in my opinion. And that's good or bad, depending on where you're coming from. At the end of the day, it's about the policy. But it's an interesting position. It's a very interesting position. That's why I say that if Smitherman jumps into the race, I think he'd be a strong candidate because of the way that he's positioned himself. Okay? We'll have to wait and see. Donna writes, something. I'm not sure what he's saying, Donna. Greg writes, good morning, Choppers and others. Maurice writes, don't let that rock y'all to sleep. Brent writes, Nat, if they can't win as mayor, why in the world do they dominate on the various commissions and judgeships? Jesse writes, play it, Nathan. Let me see. You talking about play the Biden clip? Where we at in terms of time? That was almost an hour ago. They wanted her for Secretary of Agriculture. Really? I thought that was, did they? Yeah, I saw that Roland Martin had a real interesting conversation. He had a real interesting conversation with a brother that is representing black farmers. And they were talking about, was it fudge? And it was real interesting what they were talking about in terms of the Department of Agriculture and just the scope of it. I mean, I learned some things I didn't even know, just how powerful, that particular branch or department is. I had no idea. So I learned a lot. And then secondly, this brother was giving his opinion about who should be the next leader of that particular department, and was talking about the Obama appointee and some of the difficulties he had to deal with. Apparently, black farmers got it bad. They got swindled, like black folks in general. Hey, Donnie's in the house. She writes, he said he didn't want anything in return, so Biden ain't going to do ish for that house nigga. You talking about Clyburn? I can't believe that Clyburn really believes that. He might have said that publicly, but I can't believe that someone who to me comes across as a political animal really believes that. You helped deliver the presidency, at least the Democrat nomination for Joe Biden, and you don't want nothing in return? That don't even make sense. That's hard for me to understand right there. Good morning to you. Hey, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nate? How you doing, man? Good morning.
I'm doing great. Good morning. What's up, Glenn? Welcome.
Nothing much. Hey, the last comment, did they call Jim Clyburn a house Negro?
Yes.
That's completely disrespectful. What the hell did he do? Other than maximize the black vote into what? A political power and entity that turned this election around. I mean, am I missing anything, Nate? We've had this argument before. What happened in Iowa and with New Hampshire is not indicative of the Republican Party. I mean, of the Democratic Party, especially given the diversity of the party. If anything, Nate, what we saw is that they might change the order in which we actually do caucus states now, which I think you've talked about it before. I'm for that change. We way past Iowa being the leading indicator to start off, at least for Democrats. Hell, you would think Republicans want to start off in Iowa, not Democrats. You feel me?
Is that a real conversation that's being had right now? I haven't heard it.
That is a real conversation that's being had. Because, and I got to bring it up, but I know this stuff, Nate. The reason why it's a real conversation is because the Bernie bros and babes, they went crazy, thinking that they was, Miss Fang Fang after Iowa and New Hampshire. And kind of found out, like, no, actually, once you get outside of Iowa and New Hampshire, that's the real Democratic Party. Back then, and this goes back to tradition, right? This has nothing to do with, they're trying to get the white people out before the black people get in. This is all about tradition. This is all about breaking that mold that we've all been in this same little pattern for as long as you and I have been following politics. The Iowa caucuses have always been first, haven't they? Since you've been following politics. So this goes back to this new energy we got to where we need to build back better. I hate to bring it out, but this is exactly what we're talking about. This is where those new voices come in like, hey, you need to switch things up a little bit. And you're right about Marshall Fudge. They were actually thinking about the Secretary of Agriculture, but I think they're bringing back Bill Sack. And see, this is the thing. I saw the interview with the brother, the black farmer. They actually did a real extensive interview. I can't think of the brother's name. He kind of reminds you of Questlove a little bit with the afro, but he does a going around America series, and he did one specifically about black farmers. And this brother was the head of the Black Farmers Association, but he was around. Bill Sack was the one that pushed for the black farmers reparations. Remember that? And when it took, all day and night for Mitch McConnell in the Senate to do anything for him. Let me also say this. There's a sister that was added to Joe Biden's health board yesterday. Really impressive sister. And she's out there to speak directly to the black community, Nate. It's almost like a medical czar for the black community. So, I think Tracy put it out there. I'm glad you mentioned Marshall Fudge. Tracy mentioned it about a couple hours ago. It's amazing how, people just completely skip over that. I said again, Nate, it's not about the top 4 or 5 faces you see out in front. The people that do the work are the people underneath them. It wasn't until, there was this concentration on the Becky that Donald Trump as the GSA administrator that I found out that the lady was doing the exact same job for Barack Obama with his sister. Had no idea. And again, you're talking about a guy that tried to follow it as closely as anybody. I'm sure there's somebody in the chop shop that knew that, but I didn't know it. But those are the people that do the work. And let me end with this. I like the fact that Joe Biden's trying to play that I'm not going to have my attorney general, like sticking a dog on him the way Donald Trump has used William Barr. But you know what he's doing, Nate. He's going to fill those inspector general spots. Remember all those inspector general spots that were fired, and then he would appoint somebody so they didn't have to go through the Senate appointment process? Well, now all those people, that Jim over in Colesdale, that Derek up there in Forest Park, just walk. Government people. They don't care either way. They're just trying to do their job. Those people are going to be back in position now, Nate. The people that just want to do their job, the GAO, the General Accounting Office people. And, we're going to get back to regular. I heard a guy say the other day, and it's kind of funny, but I think it's indicative of what we lived through the last 4 years and what we can expect the next 4 years. But he talked about I don't know if you saw the interview with Jake Tapper that he had with Kamala and Joe Biden. And the reviews the next day, people were saying, oh, it's boring. He acts so much like a damn president. And I was like, that's a good thing. Now, I know we had this argument before, earlier this year that we don't want to get back to normal. And remember, Nate, I said, I don't want to get back to normal either. I just want to get off crazy. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're getting off crazy. Now, unfortunately, did you see the story about the Arizona Republican legislator? Did you see that story, Nate?
Which one? I think I saw the story, but I didn't read it.
The field of the vote type. Did you hear what they said? That they're willing to die for Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Look it up. I think I might have posted it for you.
You did. You did. I saw it. Yeah,
they're willing to die for this fool. And I'm arguing with people on the down the conservative, station, and they actually believe that somehow, some way, the voter tooth fairy is going to come down and disqualify 80 million votes. I told a white dude down the Dow last night, Nate, I said, the problem is that for so long, y'all believed that there was actually a silent majority that was going to come save you. For so long, they actually believed that Donald Trump had like some Barack Obama type mandate, where he won the popular vote and the electoral college vote. You've mentioned this many times. Donald Vogt barely won the election in 2016. What, 0.7% in Michigan, 0.7% Pennsylvania, and 0.7% in Wisconsin. It was what, 77,000 votes? If anything, this is another example where the electoral college, it's been put in there to save white conservatives. That's all it does. Because if we really wanted to stick to the Constitution and go by the, one person, one vote thing, then let's, put the cards out there. I'm willing to bet that I got 80 million people on my side and they got 71. Which means my crew is 9 million more stronger than yours. Nate, I catch you on the rebound, man, and hopefully in the end they get what I'm spitting. I appreciate you taking my call, brother.
Yeah, thank you for making the call. Appreciate you. Let's move on. I've only got about 9 minutes left, maybe 11 minutes left on the show. I think Donnie made that point because Clyburn, and I vaguely remember, I'm not even sure if I clicked on it, but I think he made a comment about how he didn't want anything from the Biden administration, which I find that hard to believe. He might have said that, but he seems like a very experienced political animal. Like he knows how politics works. Politics is quid pro quo. Ain't no way in the hell you help a man become the president, and at the very least, you don't want your suggestions to be heard. I mean, at the very least, let's say you don't want an appointment yourself. That's hard for me to believe. Let me circle back around here and put the cover art back up, family. I want to make sure we highlight this story that we kicked things off. A black man killed by police while entering his own home in Columbus, Ohio. Did you see this? Yeah. You see this? And everyone's talking about it. Apparently he was putting the key into the lock and was shot by the officer that you see on the left. And apparently the police were looking for a fugitive. Did they mistakenly identify him, this brother on the right, as the perpetrator? His name is Casey Goodson Jr. He got shot in the back, as is being reported, in front of two children and his grandmother. So he got shot, and then his body fell forward, or he stumbled into the home. Because, among other things, police thought that he was a fugitive and that a sandwich that he had in his hand was a gun. Now, it's been reported that the police recovered a gun, but from what I'm also getting from separate reports is that, it was all legal. That it was legal for him to have a weapon. And so now I'm reading that DeVillers, that's the U.S. attorney in this particular area, is going to look into it. The family is saying that there's a lot of conflicting evidence and reports. It's so serious that yesterday, during the Ohio State basketball game, that young man right there, you see right there, he's the forward for the Ohio State basketball team. He actually took a knee. I'm a little disappointed that his brothers, his other teammates, didn't take a knee with him. They should have all took a knee, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Who am I to tell them what to do? But that's just my opinion about it. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you, Nathan? This is Raquel Smith.
Hey, Raquel. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good morning. Iris gave me a directive to call in.
Okay.
She said you were talking about the Columbus shooting of Casey Goodson Jr.
Yes.
Well, I just wanted to offer some comments. Not sure if you know, but I'm the executive director of the Center for Social Justice at Urban League, and we're focused on police reform. Although Columbus is a little outside of our area, these are still our people, right? So we are following that case very closely and just wanted to know if there were some questions out there that maybe I could answer, maybe I couldn't. There isn't a lot of information out there, but wanted to kick it to you to see if there's anything that I can assist with.
Well, sure. I mean, well, first, Raquel, congratulations. I'm aware of what the Urban League is doing, and it sounds fantastic. And I wish you nothing but success in that. I would love to offer you a time to call back in because I'm near the end of the show, just to talk about your work.
Sure.
And then to look at this show as a pipeline to our audience as you're working on things. But I'll circle back around and directly reach out to you. But in terms of this story of Mr. Goodson Jr., I mean, so what do you know? I'm getting it from separate reports. From your angle, what happened and what's the most relevant information that's out there?
So what we know, I'll say there's two sides of this story that's being told in the media. One is from the police department, the other from his family members. And as I'm hearing, there are several family members that were present in the household when this actually happened. I do want to point out that his family is being represented by civil rights attorney Sean Walton up in Columbus. So I think he would be a good person to touch base with as well. But the police reports that after the U.S. Marshals wrapped up an investigation on that street, Franklin County Sheriff allegedly observed him waving a gun out of his car window, which makes absolutely no sense as to why a black man in 2020 would do that in front of police officers, knowing what the consequences could be. So I'm a little skeptical that that is actually what happened. His family is reporting that Mr. Goodson was shot in the back as he was walking in his home with a Subway sandwich in one hand and his keys in the other. And there were family members that came to help him after that occurred. And allegedly, he passed away on the kitchen floor on the way into his home. What we know right now is that the Franklin County Sheriff responsible for this investigation. It sounds like the U.S. Attorney's Office of Ohio has stepped in to actually investigate this matter after the Ohio Attorney General's office declined because they said that they were contacted too late. They were contacted 3 days after the investigation had already commenced, which is in legal terms lost time to do a thorough and transparent investigation. I think one thing that's really significant that I want to point out is that the Franklin County Sheriff's Department does not have body cams. So there's no camera footage of this particular incident. And, folks across the country have been pushing for transparency in investigations. And if there is video surveillance, for it to be released immediately. And in this particular case, we have none. I do want to lift up also that we are looking at a local case. At the same time, there was a police shooting in Coleraine Township last Monday of a young man, Carrington Shropshire. And we have no information about what happened there other than the few details that Coleraine Township released last Monday. So the Center for Social Justice is also calling for transparency in that investigation and release of body cam footage. We do know that there was body cam footage, so we think that needs to be released to the public immediately.
So going back, and Raquel, thank you so much for calling in. So going back, so you're saying that the one of the reports is that Mr. Goodson Jr. flashed a weapon at police. Was this undercover, like plain clothes, or were these like police officers in uniform? Do you know that?
I don't know for sure. The things that I do know is that officers were there to investigate something totally different. Mr. Goodson was not involved in the investigation. So it's a little concerning that he was followed to his home in the first place. The other detail that has been released by his family is that Mr. Goodson is a licensed gun carrier, and that he was very serious about gun safety. So, I don't know. There are different accounts there. His family wasn't present when he was driving down the street. However, we don't have video footage to corroborate any of the facts that the police, Franklin County Sheriff's Office have released so far.
Well, Raquel, again, thank you so much for calling in. I'm with you. I'm very skeptical that a black man in these days and times is going to flash a weapon at uniformed police officers. That's highly suspicious to me. Just like I didn't believe in the Breonna Taylor situation that a black man is just going to fire through the door. And again, I know I'm mixing stories here. When police have announced themselves, that's highly unlikely to all the black folks I know. But again, I'll reach out to you. I want to hear more about what you guys are doing, all the good work and good plans you have in place. And I really appreciate you calling in this morning.
All right. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, most def. That's Raquel Smith. I'm not sure if he's a CEO, I think, of the Center for Social Justice. I know the Urban League kicked some things off. All great work, from my opinion. Exactly what time it is. We can't have enough organizations and peoples out there that is working on the benefit of justice, in particular justice for our community. So I appreciate that. And a shout out to Iris Rowley. As I said before, I mean, nobody does anything by themselves. Care who you are, you ain't doing nothing by yourself. Even this show is lifted up by a lot of good people in the community, and I appreciate it. All right, let's go back to the phones. The last call, not for alcohol, but last call here on the show. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. I don't know, man. After these last couple of days, I need that alcohol. So there's so much got unpacked so quickly in the last couple of minutes. The last few minutes. Not only did they not have body cams, but there was no eyewitnesses, pretty much on any side because the door was closed. So they shot him and he fell forward into the house. The key was in the lock, according to the reports. So the key was actually in the lock. Now, you tell me how you're facing the police with a sandwich in your hand, a gun, and a key. It don't make much sense to me, but, it'll, I guess there'll be an investigation. It'll all bear out. The other thing that people are, I think is kind of getting confused out there is, we are in this transition period between governments, whatever. And, whether someone comes from Alabama or not doesn't really matter. like, why is that a thing? So two people can't get elected. So if a black man from Alabama was appointed to the DA position, we'd be mad because he's from Alabama? That don't make sense. So, I think Mr. Biden is looking for I'm calling President Biden because the old one, he's done. I'm tired of calling that guy president. So I know I'm wrong. It doesn't happen until January 21st. I don't care. You know what? Good riddance to bad rubbish. We're gonna move forward. So, President Biden is it sounds to me like he's building a cabinet of people that are experienced, because we've had 4 years of ineptitude, and you really can't go. If you're saying you're going to hit the ground running, then you really got to hit the ground running. And then lastly, because I'm trying to wrap this quickly for you, because I know it's the end of the show. And then lastly, I was on a call the other night with a friend of mine. It was a group call, and the friend is a doctor, and he was talking about the vaccine. I'm still kind of at odds about it. I'm not sure, right? But the vaccine was actually distributed yesterday in Russia and in Europe. So apparently, what we're doing is, this is going to be horrible to say, but it's the truth, is we're making them the guinea pigs because they know that it hasn't been fully released in the United States. But they said, hey, give us the vaccine. So what I'm going to do, and I advise everyone who has the same concerns that I have to do, is to monitor how this all works out for the folks in Europe and in Russia. If it works out well for them, then, hey, I might consider it. If it doesn't, then, now I've got some true cases. I think they released 800,000 units in Europe, and it's a double dosage. So I think they have to take it the first dose first, and then you have to wait 2 weeks. I believe it's 2 weeks, and then go back for the second dose. So, we're looking at about a month and a half from now, as long as ain't nobody got 3 heads and walking around talking to themselves or whatever, as long as there's no, crazy behaviors going on and nobody is literally passed away from it. For me, that's my case study. I'm not part of the first wave. I'm not a healthcare provider, and I'm not a frontline worker, so I'm not going to get the dosage then. So I'm about 3 stages, maybe 4 stages back, and I can see what happens. And I've never taken the flu virus shot either. I've never taken that shot. There's no wood for me to knock on, so I'm not going to complete that sentence, what I was about to say. But this is different, and I'm considering it as this is different. and it's really not about me. It's more about my elder parents and my elder family members and the folks that I know that would be susceptible to something bad happening if I got it, and unbeknownst to me, spread it to them. So that's really all I got, Nathan. But look, man, it's gonna change some things around. Oh, that's what I forgot. The Electoral College, man. We absolutely don't want a popular vote. It's great when the candidate that you want to win is popular, is your popular candidate, and it's terrible when it's not. Because then, if these people out here could just go and let's say it's New York or California or one of those states, and everybody moved to one of the Texas or whatever, Texas has a lot of land. You put a lot of people in Texas, man. Now you're talking about everybody in Texas votes one way, and all of a sudden, all of their votes are counting, right? And you wiping out stuff. So right now, proportionately, if Texas had 8 million people, 100 million people, they would get votes commensurate to proportional to their to the number of people there. But they couldn't outvote the entire country. If you go popular vote, you still go state by state. But however many votes there are in that state, that's how many votes get counted. And if your state wins, you win. That's it, period. So now you can, if you have supermajorities in places, you can literally sway the election. That's the idea of the Electoral College. The whole idea is to have proportionality with the voting so that one state, based just on the fact that they have a huge population, can't take over the vote.
We know, Kev, but it's broken, man. Listen, Kev, I got to make a move, bro. I appreciate you. There are some ideas out there. Some I agree with more than others about that whole Electoral College thing. I might share it with them tomorrow's show. If you remind me, I'll bring it up. But I got to make a move, brother. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, be blessed. Stay safe.
Most def. That's Kev. He said, listen, when it comes to the vaccine, I ain't feeling it. Speaking of which, if you got any questions about COVID-19 or the vaccine or whatever, tomorrow is the show for you. It's the show for you. So tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day in terms of local media. You got some folks out there that are a part of the Push to Zero campaign, and so is CDM. I've got the founder coming on tomorrow, and she'll talk more about what that campaign is and what they're trying to do. Plus, we've got some experts, some local experts set up who'll call in to the show, and they'll be here for your questions about the vaccine and about COVID-19 as we are right now. So if that's something that you're interested in, tomorrow is the show. Make sure you tune in bright and early tomorrow. Those conversations will start somewhere between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. All right. Questions about the vaccine, questions about COVID-19 and where we are right now. Your answers are coming. The questions to your answers are coming tomorrow on the show. Push to Zero. All right. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. I really appreciate you for being here. Unfortunately, I got to make a move real quick. A lot of things are happening. The Cincinnati NAACP Truth to Power podcast today at 1 p.m. on CDM, Sin Digital Media. Make sure you tune in for that. They'll be talking about, pushing for a Black agenda, what you can do, what needs to be done, if that's something that you're in favor of. Have an excellent rest of your Wednesday. Stay safe out there. If you want to hit me with a tip on the story, I got my text message in the description. If you like the sweatshirt I was rocking today, Black Voices Matter, there's a link to where you can purchase the merch as well. Support our mission, support our platform to amplify Black voices. Until tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m., I'm Nathan Ivey. One man, one microphone, one mission, and I'm out.